Hi, Stephen. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I want to get right into this. So, what is the difference between marketing and sales, first of all?
That's a great question because they both come from different perspectives. If I just had to quickly summarize it, sales is interested in volume and profit. Marketing is interested in customer satisfaction and profit. But when you start digging down into some of that, marketing's focus is long term, 12 to 18 months. When we look at sales, they and should be short term. So there's 3 months or less, sometimes a week, again, depending on the turnover of their products. Another thing to think about is the marketing plan.
Okay, okay. Now you said something,
Okay.
the differences in time, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna question you on something here. I
Sure.
wouldn't that make a difference in terms of the sales cycle? Because some sales cycles are so long, they could be years. And then you've got other businesses with very short sales cycles. So how does
Absolutely.
that relate to marketing?
Because marketing is still creating their annual strategic plan, or they could be creating a 5 year strategic plan. There are some companies that even have longer one. Toshiba originally created a 100-year business plan when they started, and they still refer to it every year. Locally, Toshiba Canada does a 5 year plan, and that translates to a 1 year plan for marketing. Uh,
Interesting. Okay. And you teach this at the university. So what's that like? Like, let's just talk about that for a moment.
Understanding the marketing plan and how it's
Yeah.
works, yes, definitely. One of the key things is today people are focused on social media, they're focused on execution, and marketing has lost its value point. The value of marketing is really developing strategies and managing the products and services. And in working with sales, they have to understand that they can create the greatest marketing plan in the world, they can have the greatest product in the world. If sales can't deliver on the sales part because they have not trained them, provided the right information, or provided the right incentives for the customer, then those pretty marketing plans are just a nice door stopper.
Exactly. So it's like, if what's a plan if you don't implement the plan, right?
Right, right.
And salespeople are natural doers, whereas would you say marketing people are more strategic, take a step back and look at a zoom out perspective? Like, how would you relate the two?
One of the things marketing has to do is they have to understand that sales works on speed to market. So if you're responding to them, or you're working with them, or you're in the field with them, they're not looking for you to analyze and go back and work out a plan and get back to them in weeks, days, or months. They'd like some direction, like now. I've got the question now. What's some direction on it? Now that
Right.
doesn't mean that marketing can't spend some time doing the analysis to get back to them, but they have to understand that when sales asks a question, they're looking for an answer, not a, well, that's an interesting concept. Let me think about that.
Right. More tangible.
Yeah, because that's the role they play in front of the customer. They're
Right.
building that customer trust. Well, marketing has to do the same thing. They have to build the trust with sales.
So then, I mean, this is an obvious yes. I'm going to ask you, and I know the answer is going to be yes. Um, how would, like, if you're in sales, you should probably get some marketing training. And if you're in marketing, you should get some sales training. What do you think about that?
I agree 100%. I think it's fascinating that I've talked to a lot of marketers who've never carried the sales bag. I did that early in my career when I worked at General Mills. I spent 3 months in the field. Now, I did it part time because I also was doing marketing part time, but it really provided some insight. But it's the same if you're in marketing today. You should be planning that field trip. One of the formulas I use with marketers and management when I'm teaching, and have for years, is 60-30-10. 60% of the time on strategy, 30% in execution, 10% in the field. Now,
Wow.
again,
Okay.
That's directive. Um, if I think of Edwards Life Science, for example, their product managers spend 40 to 45% of their time doing tandem sales calls. Edwards Life Science creates heart valves and surgical equipment in the heart area, cardiovascular area. And while their salespeople are super good, when you get in front of cardiovascular surgeons for a review or a sales call, if it's longer than the 3-minute call, which a lot of salespeople get in front of the pharmaceutical area, they're going to ask really specific questions. So, for example, Edwards Life Science, they had over 40 different sutures. So if you're standing in front of a cardiovascular surgeon and he wants to know what's the fiber content of a suture XYZ, salespeople might not have that answer, but the
Right.
marketing person who's in charge of the sutures, she would have the answer. It happened to be a lady, and she would have all those kind of things at their fingertips.
Right, right. So you really need to be aware, right, of who your market is and what they're going to ask. And it's so important, or else you come off as just like you don't know what you're talking about. And that's the worst thing you could do in front of a customer,
Absolutely.
right? That's
Absolutely.
kind of
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
then,
there are also some other things that marketing has to understand when they're going into the field.
mhm,
And again, I find so many of the marketing people, they go, oh, well, I guess I'll go on a couple of sales calls. No, set up some objectives and share them with sales. You know, I want to see 5 of your biggest customers that are having problem with Cheerios facings or whatever the problem is.
mhm.
Uh, give sales that opportunity. Then when you're in the field, the other thing is to remember that when you get back on the plane and go back to head office, the salespeople have to go back and call on that customer. So one of the things that I've seen when I was on the marketing side or as a consultant playing the marketing role with sales is sales sometimes exaggerates or may provide a benefit that the product really doesn't deliver.
Mhm.
And marketing wants to correct them in front of the client.
Oh boy.
Big mistake, big mistake.
Mhm.
What you want to do is just be quiet. Then you have two choices. After the sales call, you can sit down with the salesperson. And what I always like to find out is why did they give that answer? What information do they have that leads to that? And a big part of the time I find out that marketing just hasn't communicated correctly what are the real benefits that go along with the features of this product.
Right. And I think salespeople, I hate to say it, might just say whatever they need to say to entice
Yeah,
others, right? And that's what gives us a bad kind of a bad name, right? Doing these behaviors make us look really sleazy, and that's not cool. So I agree with you. Like it's after the fact, and also before the fact, before you have those important sales meetings, maybe
yeah.
this needs to be worked out, right?
And that's another thing that I find, marketing will spend a lot of time building a marketing plan and getting internal approvals and managing things through. And very often sales is an afterthought that they haven't bothered to explain, provided the information, or provided the training. And again, it's one of those things whenever I've been working with marketing and pointed it out, they go, oh, I didn't think about that. And I go, if sales doesn't understand that when they're sitting in front of the customer trying to build the solution, your product's not going to come to mind because they don't
Mhm.
think it has that benefit. And
So,
a
oh, go
very,
ahead.
very simple way to do that. Marketing creates these great marketing plans. They have a positioning statement. I rarely find a marketing group that shares the positioning statement with sales. And they give me all sorts of excuses. Well, then the competitors might find out how we're positioning it. That's a load of rubbish. If you're a good marketer, you can figure out the positioning of your competitors' products as they can of yours. But if sales is sitting there and they've got the positioning of several products and the customer has this problem, then they can say, oh, well, I know we were here to talk about the rhubarb, but what we really want to talk about is rhubarb plus. And
Mhm.
I'll give you a quick example. I worked with DME Corporation, and one of their divisions was airfield lighting. Now, airfield lighting is controlled by the FAA. It's a specific product set. It's all RFP driven. When you're talking to an airport, they're either replacing something, building something. I mean, it's how do you separate it? We created 3 different positionings for it. We created one that says, this is the repair unit. We created another position that says, this is the line unit. So if you're replacing a line, and we can replace that. And the third one was, if you're doing an extension, then we can handle the subcontracting of the asphalt along with the airfield lighting. Now, it seems like such a simple thing, but all of a sudden, when our salespeople went in, they weren't doing what the competitor was. Hi, I'm here to talk about airport lighting. And so what do you need? They would go in and say, I noticed you have an RFP out for a new extension. You're going to put in a new runway. We've got a product that fits exactly for that. In reality, all 3 of them are the same product, but it's how you positioned it and how sales perceived it. And I will tell you that it increased the effectiveness and the sales of the group because they could do those positionings and explain it to the customer.
So it's really educating the salespeople and keeping it really simple. Just keep it really simple and follow through, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. And salespeople are open to that. I mean, every salesperson is, 1, going to know their customer, 2, have built the trust in their customer, and 3, have their own way of delivering your message. That's fine, as long as you give them, again, the parameters of this is where I'd like you to be. Don't get too far out for your message on what you're talking about.
Oh, so smart. I love it. And so let me just close off by asking you, what got you into this field, and what is, because you're very passionate about it, clearly. So you've
Yes.
been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
So just tell me a little bit about that.
Marketing, to me, I've been in the advertising agency. I've worked in sales, and I enjoy the marketing because you have the opportunity to work with the entire thing. So you're working with what they call the 4 Ps today: product, place, price, and promotion, and you get to manage all of that. So unlike the agency or the social media group who would just work on that, I get to help define the product. I have to decide where we're going to distribute it. I get to manage the communication direction we can provide to the customers. I get to work with sales on delivering the ultimate sale. And I also get to work with promotion to decide how that works. So, and that's been exciting because I worked on some strange ones and some good ones. A quick one. I worked on Cheerios as a brand, and I used to work closely with the US, because I was dealing with Cheerios, Monster cereals, Blueberry, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, regular established pre-sweets, Trix, Lucky Charms, Cocoa Puffs, Country Corn Flakes, Total, and Wheaties, and new products, me. And in the US, they had 250 people doing that. So I used to go down there and talk to them. Now, they'd talk to me because every now and again they'd want to try something, and they'd say, can you try this for me? It might be a promotion, or it might be a new flavor of Cheerios or a new coating, and we'll test it in Canada. And then if it doesn't work, we don't have to worry about it down here. And I got a call one day. I'm sitting in my office in Toronto, and I got a call, and it's the product manager on Cheerios. He said, hey, we're in Hollywood here. We're working with a new group. They got a new movie coming out, and we're going to do cards, trading cards that go inside Cheerios. It's a penny a pack. My budget is 2 cents a promotion. This is a penny a pack, but we have to add you to it within the next 10 minutes if you want to be part of the contract. And I said, what is it? They said, well, it's some new science fiction thing. I said, well, I like science fiction. They said, okay, well, we'll put you on the contract, but you may want to go see the movie when it comes out in a couple of weeks. I went, okay. The movie was Star Wars. And we got Star Wars, the first one. Okay, so I'm running a promotion on Cheerios that has 10 trading cards inside from Star Wars when it launched. I mean, it just blew the sales apart. So you you get to, as a product manager, you get to be involved with all facets of the product, and I like that. So
That's exciting.
that's why yeah, you asked me why I'm in marketing and why
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it, because so much of these tools and things are available to us and are used incorrectly. So that's, and whether it's sales using a marketing tool like a SWOT, I mean, sales can use that tool as well.
This has been so good. Thank you so much. What is the best
Welcome.
place for individuals to reach you?
They can get me at LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And I also have my email, which is srayfield, ESIL, at gmail.com.
You,
ESIL is my company, ESIL.
yes, beautiful. I'll make sure that that's up. And thank you again.
Great. Thank you. Maybe we can do this again.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Have a great day.
You too.